So welcome to another episode of Tommy's Driving Antics. Today we are heading up to Yorkshire. My wife's pregnant, so I booked us a stay at somewhere called Grantley. We're going to go there, relax and enjoy. It is a 4-hour journey from where we are, just outside London right now. So we are taking the 812 Superfast. The real reason I'm taking the 812 Superfast is not only that it's fun, but also because compared to something like the Aventador SVJ, it has tons more storage. I mean, it's not got as much as like a regular car, but if you come and look at this, it's got loads of storage at the back. So it means that we can take, airplane, handheld, carry-on luggage style. My wife can take a bag and a duffel bag as well as all our coats, all our water, everything we're going to need during the journey. So yeah, it should be quite interesting. I'm curious to see if I get there on one tank. The range on this car sometimes is a bit optimistic, I think. It will say about 400 miles, but I'm not sure if it'll do that because it is, again, a V12. But let's see what happens. I'm going to check all my tire pressures. Because it is a long journey, I don't want the tires to wear unevenly. It's about 230 miles there, 230 miles back. So I'm going to check all the tire pressures and then make our way. As you can see, I've got tire stickers. I have said nothing about them. I just thought they made the car look a bit cooler. I'm checking the tire pressures. This is a front mid-engine car, so I do 33 PSI on the front, 30 on the back. Always do your pressures when it's cold because as soon as it warms up, you can give you a false reading. So we're about 30 minutes into the journey. We've still got 2 hours and 14 minutes left. We just left the M25, now we're on the M1. There was tons of traffic, as you know, always on M25. This car handles really well. My only issue with it when you're cruising like now, the steering is so direct and so pointy that with the grooves in the road, it tramlines quite heavily and it reacts to camber. So if I let go, the car will kind of squirm about, which is a bit annoying because you're constantly fighting it. But now we're on the M1, which is a smoother road than the M25. It's pretty chill. I've pressed this button here, which is bumpy road mode, and it means that the suspension dampers soften up, so you can just cruise over bumps.
We just stopped at Greg's because Greg's is essential. I feel like the baby wanted it as well. I've got a sausage roll and a chicken bake.
So as anticipated, I'm going to need to fuel up. I've got 42 miles of fuel left, 17 miles to go. So no, 17 miles to the fuel station up in it's Esso. That's about 30 miles to go, so I'm definitely going to get fuel. I'm not going to risk it. What I actually wanted when I was looking for a car like this, I was basically looking out of this and Aston Martin DBS. The Aston Martin DBS was amazing, but I felt like it just lacked a bit of the, the pizzazz that this car has, and it just lacked a bit of the special feeling. The inside was a bit too dated. I loved the car though. When I drove it, I had a DBS for 2 days. Honestly, I found it amazing, and I would buy one. I think they just need to update the infotainment, the inside of the car. They just need to work on it a bit more. But other than that, it was good. I'm glad I made this decision. I'm not going to go back on it, definitely, especially after today. It's done over 200 miles today and it's been absolutely perfect. I'm comfortable, I'm relaxed, I can drive it one-handed, I can leave the gearbox on auto. And one thing that I have that I don't have in my Aventador is cruise control, which is, I know people will be like, why do you need cruise control on a Ferrari? But when you're doing like 200-mile journeys at 70 miles an hour, you kind of want cruise control so you can just chill and cruise. So yeah, that's been good. So there seems to be some kind of traffic jam. We're literally just going just to Esso over here, which is about, I don't know, 50 yards if that. And yeah, we're sitting in traffic. I have officially 0 miles of range. The car's not telling me anymore. Hopefully it won't run out of fuel before I get there, but fingers crossed. So we're Esso, which is also a McDonald's now. I'm gonna fill up the car and we're gonna see how much it costs. I need to unlock the car to get into the fuel tank. It's so annoying in this car. So I'm hoping to have an idea. I'm not sure if that's expensive for now. It sounds like that's expensive. 167. Greg's on the seat. Fucking burrito and Greg's on my Ferrari seat. So yeah, that wasn't the full level that I am allowed to set. I'm allowed to fuel up to £140 when I pay by phone, as in I don't have to go inside the petrol station. So I'm assuming it's a 90 litre tank, so I was pretty low. That's impressive. No wonder it always says I have loads of range. If this was a warm or at least a dry day, this road would have been epic. The car is so pointy. You look at the car and it doesn't look like it's going to be a super athletic, you know, super nose sharp car, but it is. The suspension setup, the way they've done it, it's got a lot of camber on the front wheels, a lot of negative camber on the front wheels, and I think it's towed in perfectly. So it's just very darty. You need minimal steering input. A lot of that is also down to the variable steering rack. So at low speeds the rack is very light, and at high speeds it changes, but the car kind of predicts what you want based on your driving style and based on your braking and everything. So sometimes you turn a little bit and it turns a lot, and sometimes you turn a lot and it turns a little bit. So it takes a second to get used to, but it is immaculate once you do.
Guys, we have got to Grantley Hall.
We have arrived at Grantley Hall after about 3.5 hours and around 250 miles. We are here. It looks stunning. The grounds are amazing. The grass is freshly mowed. But yeah, I actually don't know where I'm going to. I assume the place this big that looks like Grantley Hall.
Oh, they've got a G-Wagon.
That is a Rolls-Royce demo car.
Wow.
Aston DBX. Of course we get premier parking. Fine, thank you very much. How are you?
Yes, very, very well. We're just going to be putting it right on the front for you.
Okay,
literally
perfect.
You sound very familiar.
Do I?
Yeah,
what's your name, sorry?
Harry Dawes.
Nice to meet you. Tommy, nice to meet you. You can just call me Tommy, man. It's fine. Sir makes me sound like my dad.
I recognised it. I saw the colourway on the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, I only know one colourway for this car. So it is,
We've arrived at Grantley Hall. It's been amazing. We've just had some wonderful dinner at the restaurant, the Sean Rankin restaurant. It was a 10-course meal. It was amazing. I really liked the venison, I think it was that I really liked. It was just, there were so many courses I've kind of like forgotten what there was. I'll definitely be coming back here. My wife and I have agreed we're going to come here once a quarter at least. So I'm going to be driving up here a few times in several different cars. Speaking of cars, the drive up here in the 812 was immaculate. It rained a lot, so I had the car in wet mode in the last half of the journey. It was slip and sliding a little bit, but it handled it perfectly well. I think I've got to grips with the car now. This is the longest I've driven it so far. And yeah, I will be looking forward to doing more on the way back tomorrow. For dinner, as you just saw, this is some more of the hotel. That is a yacht. This is the yacht room. I think they're having like a yacht meeting.
Oh wow.
not around too much.
Oh, I'll try not to.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bye.
I know, a bit too easy. So we're leaving Grantley Hall now. It was an amazing stay. Gonna get in the car. It's a bit wet right now, so it's gonna be a slippy ride home. I'll try and log more on the way back. And then, yeah, don't know what else to say. I'm tired. It's raining, but
It's
I'm not
weird.
wet.
I know.
So this is definitely my favorite angle of the 812 Superfast. I think it's just utterly gorgeous. So on my model, I have a tailor-made car. So it's got a tailor-made painted stripe down the middle of the car. Literally painted on to the paint. It's not vinyl. I've also got carbon on my lower diffuser. As you can see here by the exhaust, the center is painted, and I think it looks better like that. I think too much carbon offsets the beauty of the paintwork. This is Electrico Blue, or Blue Electrico is what they call it, and I think it's my favorite color. I always wanted a 812 in this color, so I'm glad I finally found one. As you can see, more carbon on the side. We've got painted shields, a necessity for any V12 Ferrari. And then we also have the tire stickers that I put on aftermarket myself at a company called Tire Stickers that were based in Leicestershire. They did a really good job. The stickers have stayed on amazingly well, and they are made of rubber as well. So yeah, the car's just gorgeous.
Here's another amazing angle of the car. You can see the long bonnet where the V12 resides. What's interesting is that the entirety of the 6.5 litre V12 is behind the front axle. So when you open the bonnet, the engine sits far back, and that's done for weight distribution. Ironically, this car is actually rear bias in terms of weight distribution. It's not perfectly 50-50. I believe it's 51% rear, 49% at the front, or around that region. It's such an amazing car. I love it so much. The only one thing I don't like about the design, I love all the scoops, I love all the vents, I love this duct back here, I love this like lipped spoiler. The only thing I don't like is this, and I feel like, I know it keeps the Ferrari tradition, but I don't think it's necessary to have a keyhole on the side of your car. I feel like they could have hidden it a better way. But like I was saying, an amazing car. This is a beautiful angle of it. The exhaust note is glorious. I think what I want to do is put an exhaust valve controller so I can open and close the valves, and I don't really want to put a custom exhaust on the car, just because I like the fact that I can cruise and I can chill and relax in it. But yeah, an amazing car, like I said. This paintwork just stands out. Blue Electrico, and I don't want to sound basic, but I think I'm going to get my next Ferrari in the same colour, depending on what that is. We'll see. As you can see, it's still raining terribly. I'm not really looking forward to the drive, because I was hoping for, again, a dry drive that I could fire it back down the country roads on, but alas, we are blessed with rainy weather. Maybe it's God just telling me to be chill, and I have got a baby on the way, so I should really be chill. Oh.
You see,
Just for your information, the roads are a bit wet today.
Okay, thanks.
Be careful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good one. We've got a beautiful Taycan here. I can't tell. Oh, GTS, just like mine, but in ice grey metallic. My one's in Carrera white metallic. Got a nice little buggy here. I want one of those, just to cruise the grounds.
Tommy, look what else they gave us.
What is that supposed to be?
Chocolate.
Oh, I thought it was moisturizer.
Remember they said for the way home, if you want to
Yeah.
go, if you've got a bit peckish.
Any nibbles? Let's come home.
Oh, you can't have it.
I've got the car in wet mode. The damping over these bumps is immaculate. The car does an insane job. I think Ferrari really nailed it by putting bumpy road mode in their cars. I think a lot of supercar manufacturers need to take after that concept in their vehicles, and I think with the newer model cars we'll start seeing that. As supercars become more dailyable, it's going to be a necessity to have them more usable on a daily manner. So yeah, it's really good. I think that the next generation Lamborghinis will take a lot from Ferrari. Ferrari seems to be a generation ahead in terms of technology. As you know, the Aventador was introduced in 2011, I think, and the Huracan's been out since about 2014. So they are quite dated now, whereas Ferrari's managed to, update their models just a little bit more. So I'll be interested to see what Lamborghini does. But honestly, this is probably my favorite supercar on a daily basis, because I've been able to drive it to do normal things. I've got enough space for luggage. It's comfortable inside. It handles incredibly well, as you see there. Very direct with the steering. Very sensible, even in wet conditions. I never really feel afraid in this car. The only time I have been afraid is when I was joining an on-ramp once, and I gave it a little bit too much throttle, and it was a bit of a slippery situation with my wife in the passenger seat, so I won't be doing that again. Also, one thing I love about this car is the automatic gearbox actually works as an automatic gearbox, and it doesn't require you to put up with a misbehaving shift pattern like in older Ferraris or Lamborghinis. So you can drive this in automatic mode if you want to. On the way up in the wet, I literally had it on cruise control, and I had it in automatic mode for the entirety of the journey, which is unheard of for me in a supercar. Even in the best gearboxes, I usually am using my paddles. But when you get a gearbox as good as this Ferrari one or the Porsche PDK system, you have no reason to when you're just cruising along. Very wet. The car is definitely in wet pretty chill. The wipers don't seem to go any faster than what they're on now, which is quite up, and they've decided they're back now. Okay, so it's raining a lot, and what I was saying earlier about not being afraid of this car anymore because I've got some hours in it in the wet is kind of disappearing as the wetter it gets. But yeah, this is not very nice.
Turn right onto M1 South.
Stretching out. So we've made a quick stop at Welcome Break in, I'm not sure where we are. This looks like a netball
We're in Milton
team.
Keynes.
That's definitely a netball team. But yeah, we're in Milton Keynes. Don't I've got chicken. I'm trying not to get the chicken grease in the car. So the Alcantara in this car, the only problem with Alcantara is that it's very, 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 very susceptible to picking up chicken grease. So we have to be careful with the chicken grease on the car. So I've made sure that my wife understands the seriousness of the chicken grease.
And I've made sure that you've understood also. Because typically you're the one that ends up spinning
thank you for
stuff.
joining us on this journey. We're about to eat our KFC. I'm sure you don't watch that. Then we'll make our way home. We are back home now. I've got the car on trickle charge. It was a very long and stressful journey. On the way back, it involved a lot of traffic on the M25 and a lot of rain. As you can see now, I'm not sure if you can see, but the car is pretty much covered in like rain gunk. There you can see all the rain gunk. A lane was closed. There was so much traffic. People in this country, for some reason, love driving in the outside lane, even when they're not driving or overtaking anyone. They'd just be driving like a 16 outside lane. So it just makes the traffic even worse. But other than that, the journey was okay. It took about 4 hours to get back. The car was just amazing. It handled superbly. It really is a Grand Tourer supercar, if that makes any sense. Carried all our luggage in the back. The reason I parked reversed in, normally I come in forwards. I don't like the exhaust fumes, but in this situation, I had to unload the back. And if you look here, I've got a little ridge. So I can't open the boot when the car is facing forwards. I can, but with the door shut. So it's just a bit complicated, especially when I had loads of luggage to take out. But I loved it. I love this car. I've done that 500-mile journey now. It's shown me how versatile this car can be. There was a few country roads that I managed to get a little bit of action on, but it was wet, so I couldn't really push it. I'm not sure if it was worth even inserting into this video. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. I'll do more posts on this car. I think this will be my new long-term Grand Tourer, long-distance traveling mobile. Usually I would take the SVJ when I'm doing things, but now, if I can get my camera to go there. Sorry, I'm using a gyro and I'm just getting used to the fact that the controls aren't inverted. So instead of using my SVJ for long distance touring trips, I will instead be taking my A12 Superfast. I just think it really worked well. Even though I have the Cayenne Turbo GT, this is just more exciting. The Cayenne Turbo GT is cool, but at the end of the day, it's just still an SUV and it's just a bit boring, a tad bit boring when you want to do something exciting, and this provided all the excitement I needed. So I just recorded a whole outro and it didn't work. But remember to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing loads more trips with my myself, my wife, and Hunter Auto Society, my car club. And I'll be doing some in the Green Goblin SVJ, maybe some in the Cayenne as well. The Cayenne is such a capable car. I don't think people realize, but I feel like if I took it to a track, I'll be able to do a few people. My ring is making noise. But anyway, other than that, have a wonderful time, day, evening, and here's to more content. Bye.